Working inside your business has many challenges, as we're all aware, but one that's become a lot more prevalent in today's society is being able to work with our team members and getting the whelm just right, not allowing overwhelm with our team members. And someone who's got that right under control right now, we're going to be chatting with straight after this. As the heading says, working with team members has a lot of different complexities, but we have to make sure that we get the manage the whelm, get the whelm just right is how I like to talk about it. And I've got a good friend of mine and colleague, Nathan Butler from Melbourne, chatting on this podcast all about how he does it really well. And you do it really well, Nathan. So first of all, let me say a big welcome and thanks for joining us again.
Pleasure. Great to be here.
So, mate, talk me through it. I mean, obviously, it's been something that's a lot more prevalent in our industry and society these days, you know, anxieties, depressions, mental health. We can talk about all of that, but let's just really focus in on being able to get the overwhelm factor right. You know, like we talk about getting the whelm right with our team members. What have you found? Like, have you felt it, seen it, heard it more about overwhelm with team members and colleagues and that in the industry? What have you sort of been seeing in the last 6 months, 12 months?
Oh, look, in the last 6 to 12 months, I think there's been a heavy weight on everyone. You know, COVID times and isolations is a component that goes with it. But I think as well in life, we're just getting busier. There's higher expectations, you know, whether it be to keep excited, whether it be to keep going and to thrive. But I think that, like you said, if we are overwhelmed, then we burn out. But if we're underwhelmed, we get bored. So finding that middle line has been probably just as important as ever.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, we obviously work on the utilisation with team members and that type of stuff. I'd love to be able to, have people sort of hear it from yourself as to how you work it and inside the framework that we have there. Talk me through it. Like, because I guess one of the challenges I see is that business owners in our industry want more, they want to have more, they want more clients, they want more profit, they want more money, they want more this. And ultimately, I think there's still a level of business owners, to put it carefully, in the industry that are pushing too hard and expect too much from too many people. And there's a bit of misnomer out there as to how hard people should be working and that type of stuff as well. So give me a bit of a breakdown as to how you guys work it.
Yeah, look, our team is the most important piece. Nothing without the team that we have. And so we want people to be there for the long term. So, in 14 years, we've had 3 people turn over and have a team of 20. And it's something we're really proud of. And so I'd say that you need to work with the end result.
Can I just jump in? How good is it when you have team members that you have to pay out long service leave? When you got team members that have been with you for more than 10 years and people go, I've got to pay all this money for long service. I'm like, I know, I'm damn proud of that. That's friggin' awesome, right?
100%. I mean, the cost even just of hiring is huge, and the changeover. So to have people there for the long term is the number one. They pass on their experiences. You have an amazing culture and everything that goes with it. But starting, I think, with that outcome, everyone has to be happy. And if we want to, earn this amount of much, and as business owners and even practitioners, we need to talk about money. We need to say, this is where we want to be. Yeah. But from that, you can work back to have the right amount of whelm. So for us, we have 80% white space and 20% what we call blue space. So this could be team meetings, our weekly focus sheets, where we check in and make sure the whelm is right. PD, roundtables, project time, personal and business development, limbicity, which is sort of that time to access the front of the brain.
See, I've got that trademarked.
Yep.
After our conference last week, yes.
I'll go with S.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah. So with these type of things, they're there to allow people to thrive. And then of that 80% sort of white space, we aim to utilization be at about maximum 85%. And once we're hitting sort of that 80%, well, we don't want people to burn out. So we're actively looking at hiring, at that point in time and bringing someone else onto the team to support them. Yep, exactly right. Which then brings down the numbers a little bit and then brings that up. But I think if we try and operate at 100%, there's just no space. There's no time for team to knock on the door and talk crap, talk about the footy, talk about what was the weekend, or even case conference. So yeah, having that blue space and that right amount of whelm, I think, is essential in keeping people for the long term.
Ultimately, you take a 38-hour week, you take out the admin and the operations, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
One-on-one meetings every week. Maybe there's a bit of travel between a clinic, or maybe someone has to go to a hydro pool or something like that, or a home visit or something. So there's travel time taken out. We want to make sure that there's, PD with the team, etc. You might have some admin and notes and those type of things, but all that's put into place. Then you get to a 32 or 33-hour week or something like that maximum, and you guys work at 85% of that 33%.
Up to,
yeah.
Yeah. And look, some weeks it's a little higher, some weeks a little lower, and that's okay. And that's sort of the ups and downs. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But it's a bit like a term deposit.
People that are hearing that going to go, oh, what? Oh, type of thing. And I know that there's a couple of new grads with some of our clients in the tribe and that at the moment that are, sitting there going, oh, we should be at this, we should be at that, etc. And others are trying to work less, and others are wanting to, the business owners want them at 95 and these type of things. But ultimately, at the end of the day, I look at this and I always think about energy flow. There's only so much when you start to get a little bit overwhelmed and everyone just becomes a number in the system. It's like going to Coles and getting the number at the deli and having to wait, right? Like if people are just moving like a blue ass fly, to use an old Aussie slang type of term, and they're just going from one person to another, you can't be everything that you need to be for that person, right?
100%. You're not getting the outcomes for your patients. You're not getting happiness. And that's not, reason to succeed. You're just churning and burning, and that's not healthy or good for anyone.
Talk to me about that, starting with you, like with you or your practitioner and that, because I know that you guys have a couple of different analogies that you utilize in that as well in regards to this has to start with you and look after yourself or your team member first before it flows on. How do you guys sort of talk about that?
Yeah, look, I think that's sort of, you have to be accountable to something. Otherwise, there's that, we just do things. We're great. Yeah, stuff. Yeah. It's awesome. Yeah. But no, we always talk about filling our own jug first. So it has to start within ourselves, because if our jug is not full and, and have that energy to use, then we can't help others. So then the next thing is our team. So ourselves and our team.
And can I just jump in on that? Some people might think that's a little bit self-serving, or a bit selfish. But here's the thing. I always relate this back to last time you went on a plane, which for a lot of people has been a long time because of COVID, right? What's the first thing that they tell you about if something happens and the mask drops from the ceiling? What do they tell you to do?
Put it on yourself.
Fit your mask first, right? Because if you don't fit your mask first, then you're no good to your child. You're no good to the person beside you, etc. You have to fit your mask first. So it is exactly that premise that if you don't look after yourself first, then you're totally useless in every other realm.
Yeah, 100%. And that's why your jug has to be full first. And we talk about how to recharge, the lightning charge, how to quickly recharge, how to take that time and respecting it. And that's where you pour that into the cup, and that needs to be overflowing. So the cup is the team. And if you look out for the team and realize someone's not filling their jug, then you've got that space. And again, this is that accountability and us taking responsibility for this. And once the cup is overflowing, that goes into the saucer. And the saucer is what you give your patients. That's what you help them. And then when the saucer overflows, it goes onto the floor. And that's the community. And that's a community of our patients. Now, we're not asking to drink off the floor or anything like that. That's not the analogy. But the whole idea is that there has to be that excess to give. And we want to ensure that, it starts from the jug. And, that's got to be plenty full and to flow through so that it's something that's sustainable. Because otherwise, there is that burnout. And that's not good for anyone.
Yeah, absolutely. The challenge as well is when you start thinking about burnout, that means a lot of people want to leave. Like I'm seeing it in a lot of different companies, like not with clients that we work with, but in the industry, we're getting a lot of people, and I'm grateful to be in the position I am. I have a lot of people in the industry that reach out to me and want to talk about the situation that they're in with their own business, or not with their business, but with their employer or something like that. And so I can tell you now, there's been a lot of them that some will go into like a fatigue type scenario or need, burnout and time and that type of stuff. I mean, we've all heard the stories, but there's also
Well, that's actually what we see every day. That's who we treat and what we do.
Huh.
We deal with burnout. We deal with fatigue syndromes. You're more likely to get pain syndromes and these things. So, working in that, we just know the importance of staying well. And yeah, without your health, you're kind of screwed.
Yeah. Who would have thought, right? But the other end of the equation is this, is that I don't think a lot of people realize that those that go into overwhelm, they don't go into a fatigue situation, but what they do is they get disgruntled with where they're at. They lose the cultural alignment. They're not in fit with the team. They start feeling like the grass is greener. They need to look for another opportunity. They start to talk to themselves about, I need to do this and develop my career. And they start to, look sideways at everyone else. And ultimately what they do is they move positions, they move on. And a lot of the time we're seeing that people are wanting to move on because they're actually in an overwhelm or burnt out scenario with their current position.
Yeah. And so much so that, like we talked about limbicity before and accessing that part of the brain, the limbic system, if we have that chronic stress, then that takes our prefrontal cortex off. We can't make those choices. We can't form communities and rationalize, as well as we'd like to, which, again, impacts, so much. And you're right, we do look sideways.
And I think when you think about it, there's a lot of people that are moving around in our industry at the moment. And you start to sit there and you go, that isn't necessarily because, like, a lot of the time when you dig in deeper, it's like someone coming in and going, I've got back pain, I want to get rid of back pain. No, they don't really care about the pain. They want to be able to crawl around with little Jimmy on the floor for the first time, right? So when people say that they want to leave, there's always an underlying reason and, emotional status or hook that needs to be there. And what we're finding is that it's literally a misalignment with their team. And a lot of the time it's just people being disgruntled and thinking the grass is greener because they're in overwhelm. And they're sort of feeling burnt out and pushed too hard in their workplace right now. And to also jump on this, I mean, I'm so far from being that far left socialist woke type supporter in the world. I'm so far from being that person, yet I totally understand the benefit of, workplace health and understanding that, getting the whelm right is absolutely crucial because we know it's about $30,000 to $40,000 to change over team members. By the time you go through weeks and weeks or potentially, months of people slowly checking out, then, disappearing and the new person coming in, plus the onboarding and getting someone, like if you've had someone with you for 2, 3, 5 years or more and they leave, there's $40,000 plus of lost benefit in cash wise, talking about business and money wise right now, to have that person replaced before the new person that comes in is up to sort of speed, standard, however you want to phrase it, right?
Yeah, 100%. It takes months, and every situation that we have to be win-win. There is no such thing as a successful win-lose. So I think it's something that, with all these decisions we make about getting that realm right, it's, is it win-win? And, that goes both ways. Yeah,
absolutely. Absolutely. Well, mate, huge credit for you and the team. It's something that you guys have been working on very, very significantly. The results speak for themselves. You've got a great team that's doing some amazing things for the community and for all of your clients. And you really do have the whelm just right. And it also does prove that you don't have to work people at 95% and kill them to be able to make a business profitable and successful. You guys have a lot of great time. You've got a lot of great money. You've got a lot of great freedom, and a huge amount of impact. And ultimately, at the end of the day, when you can put that in place with a model that works for everyone, that's what it's obviously ultimately about, right?
Yep. Win-win.
Absolutely.
Cheers, Jace.
Mate, thanks for your time, and I'll talk to you soon.
Pleasure.
Hey guys, thank you very much for listening to another episode of the Profitable Practice Podcast. I would love nothing more than for you to be able to leave a review. I get so much joy out of listening and reading the amazing things that you guys say about this. So please subscribe to our channel, leave a review, and share it with your friends. Let's get some more fantastic information out there so all of us can grow the industry together. Cheers for now.